What's going on, YouTube? Well, I fixed the air conditioner on the 86 Suburban. We went on ahead and I'll show you what I did. So I got a new filter line dryer, accumulator dryer thing. It got a new orifice tube in here and a brand new, not remanufactured, AC compressor. But now we need to address the issue of this thing runs like total dog crap. It's developed a miss. I've replaced the spark plugs. I think the spark plugs are fine. I've run a compression test on it. The compression for being a 220,000 mile 350 Chevy is phenomenal. It varies from 160 psi to 170 psi, and it's pretty even numbers in between. I'm not complaining. I think 150 is actual what the compression is supposed to be on an old small block 350, but I could be wrong. You can correct me in the comments. But and that's using a Mac compression tester, so it's pretty dependable. It's always worked really well. But anyway, moving on from that. So today's video, we are going to see which one of these two Rochester carburetors. I got this one and I got this one, and that one is going away. I'm not playing with it. It's the old crappy electronically controlled Rochester carburetor. It's not working good. It's running lean. It keeps leaning out on me. The thermal switch for the float level control, whatever, air fuel ratio control, fucking solenoid or whatever it's inside of it, is broken. And I'm not even going to play with it. I'm just going to take it off and put on an older Rochester carburetor. I've got one that's a mechanical choke. This one is a mechanical choke. This one is a 1979 350 with a thermal choke. What thermal choke means is that it's got a heat riser tube that runs down to a thermal actuator inside the intake manifold, and then you supply secondary vacuum to it. So when when the engine warms up, it heats up the little coil spring that's in there that opens a valve that allows the vacuum to go through, and it pulls the choke open. It's a thermal vacuum choke, and we're going to take it off. That carburetor has a brand new electric choke on it, and I'm going to take that brand new electric choke and I'm going to put it in place of this thermal vacuum choke and see if it works. If not, I will convert it over to manual choke, which is not that hard. I have all of the parts right here to convert it over to manual choke. There is really no difference other than there's a, if you look right here, hello, you can see that. Let's turn the camera around. There is this, which is where this attaches to the body. There's a single set screw in there, and then a lever that this actuates there and lets the choke work. Now this one has the same, if you look, setup in there, which kind of works very similar to how this works. So you can actually look down the primaries and see a close estimate of what CFM the Rochester carburetor is. by looking down, and if there's a ring that sticks out yay far that goes all the way around, it's a 600 CFM Rochester carburetor. If you look down in there and there's no ring but towards the leading edge on this end here, on this side to the front of the carburetor, if you look down in there and there's just a little bump, it's a 750 CFM or 700 CFM or something like that. So there's actually two different size Rochester carburetors. There's the 600 CFM, and then there's its big brother, which would be on a high output application such as heavy duty truck, performance sedan, or sports cars got them. Mostly your 454, 396, and 427 applications got the higher CFM Rochester carburetor. So if you wanted a carburetor upgrade for a Rochester for your small block, go take one off of a 454. It'll work. So yeah, anyway, so now we're going to attempt to do this. And in the garage here I have a small plethora of small block Chevy parts. I'm in the process of going through sorting and getting rid of stuff that I no longer need in my garage because I'm moving. No, we are in the process of moving, and yeah, we're gonna go enjoy adventures in life. So keep an eye out for that on the channel. But anyway, this is a brand new small block Chevy distributor housing. It says right there, new, $10, small block Chevy. This has no use on it whatsoever. We actually bought this distributor to rob the ignition module out of it. Well, I have a spare, I always keep a spare 350 Chevy ignition module with all of the parts that I need to make this distributor work in that engine. So let's talk for a minute about the 80s, mid-80s, well, early to mid-80s carbureted vehicles. They were electronically controlled timing, and it had a servo or whatever it is. It adjusted the idle air mixture or something like that to allow for elevation changes. That's really all it was for. And when they worked, they worked. When they didn't work, they were shit, quite frankly. And this one's not working, so we're just going to take it off and put an old school Rochester that I had laying in there on the shelf that I know was a good carburetor when I removed it from the vehicle and drained the gas out of it. The one I'm going to put on here is actually the one I took off the 79 Street Truck 2.0 when I put the Holley Sniper EFI system on it. I am getting ready to order a Sniper for this truck, but it's just getting to the point where it's running so bad that I've got to do something with it because, well, my wife drives this truck and I can't have her broke down sitting somewhere on the side of the road with the kids. So we're not going to do that. So I'm going to do what I can to make sure this truck is dependable before I go back out over the road and go back to work. And yeah, that's, in a nutshell, it's going to be an interesting experience. So let's dive right on into this and get her done. to show you something. And this is definitely can cause a major issue. If you look at this gasket, this is the carburetor base gasket, and this is why you never remove a carburetor without buying a new base gasket. Oh, what is that? I can tell you exactly what that is. You see that right there? That's a direct vacuum leak. Yep. That gasket's trash. But I always plan ahead. So, inside the door of this truck, I have parts. See, I go down to the parts store, especially considering this is my only drivable vehicle right now because, well, my other truck is still in the body shop, which it's coming. It'll be done. I went to the parts store and I got a small plethora of shit that I might need to replace in the process of this engine performance issue I'm having. So let's show you what I got. Package number one. If anybody that knows small block Chevys know exactly what this is. And what is this? Lo and behold, it's a brand new carburetor base gasket for a 1986 C10 Suburban. Now, I bought the timing cover set just in case I need to put a timing chain in this. I have a brand new timing chain in the garage, so I don't need to buy that. Then I've got a carburetor base gasket because I knew that once I took that carburetor base gasket off of it, it was going to be toast. So, chances are, the only thing wrong with this, after looking at that carburetor base gasket, is that it needs a new carburetor base gasket. That is the vital key to engine performance when it comes to everything else works, but it runs like crap. Chances are you have a vacuum leak somewhere, and I was suspected that that was the problem. So the question is, do I just change the base gasket and put that old carburetor back on there? Or do I go on ahead and put this 79 carburetor on there and change the distributor? I think I'm going to put the 79 carburetor on and change the distributor. Just simply because I know that the old computer controlled system in this truck is failing. It's failing, and we have no need to run it anymore. I mean, it never worked right to begin with, except for like the first 100,000 miles or first 50,000 miles it was in service. But once it got some age on it, it was just never good. One of the biggest things that we used to do in the mechanical field back when I was younger in the 90s was I made a lot of money taking this system off and putting an older system on because they didn't work good. They didn't even come close to working good. And yeah, so let's get her done. Well, I found another issue, but it's not a bad issue. It's just a compatibility issue. So let's show you what I found out. Or how I was mentioning the computer controlled timing. Well, this distributor is not. It is a non-computer controlled timing. That means it's been replaced before. So what that means for me, all I got to do is change the carburetor and verify timing. It's if it works, don't fix it. But I truly think the problem more than anything else is that carburetor base gasket and vacuum leaks. But having found that somebody's already replaced the distributor once, there is no need for me to replace that distributor. I don't need to touch it. It works. I'm not going to fix it. So with that being said, I will put my spare distributor housing and ignition module back in my spare parts box. So I will have it for the future. Basically, all we now got to do now is just clean it up and put the thing back together. So yeah, let's get going on that. Well, we got it switched out. I went with option 2, the 1979 carburetor. The older one, I couldn't make it work, the manual choke one. And I was not able to switch over to the electronic choke. So what I did was ensure that I didn't have a problem. Okay, so if you look, I just took the butterfly out. Now, before you beat me up in the comments, let's explain. Taking the butterfly out of an old carburetor is an old hot rodder's trick back in the day. As long as the engine has good compression and good vacuum, you really don't need a choke unless it's like really, really, really cold outside. This truck will start and run just fine without the choke. It might be a little cold-blooded, but it won't be bad. So that's why I did that, because if I left that thermal vacuum choke unhooked from the carburetor, it would cause me a problem down the road by allowing the engine to suck that butterfly down or closed and choke out the engine. And if I remember correctly, that was the problem I had with this carburetor when I took it off the 79 GMC and put the Sniper EFI on. So we're gonna see if it works. So yeah, let's see what happens. First, we'll verify we got accelerator pump. We have no fuel yet. crash. Check the idle. Well, to answer the question, yes, a 1979 carburetor will definitely run a 1986 350. Oh, there's that. It's still a piece of shit. Well, that's all for this video. I'd like to thank you for watching. My wife handed me a cigarette butt. I'd like to thank you for watching. Click that subscribe button down below. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. That really helps out the channel. Y'all have fun.